Have you ever felt like you've worked all night for nothing? Like you've given it your all, but you're just coming up empty? Well, you're in good company. Some of Jesus' closest friends knew that feeling all too well. Picture this. The sun is starting to rise over the Sea of Galilee. A group of fishermen, including Peter, are washing their nets on the shore. They're exhausted, they're frustrated, and their boats are completely empty. They've been out on the water all night, casting their nets again and again, but they haven't caught a single fish. Imagine the disappointment. This isn't just a hobby for them. This is their livelihood. No fish means no income, no food on the table. It's a feeling of total failure. As they're packing up, a figure appears on the shoreline. They don't recognize him at first. He calls out, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" It's a simple question, but it cuts deep. "No," they answer, the single word heavy with their all-night struggle. Then, the stranger gives them a seemingly absurd suggestion. "Throw your net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." The right side, what difference could that possibly make? They're professional fishermen. They know these waters like the back of their hands. They've tried everything, everywhere. Why would a few feet to the right change anything? You can almost hear the skepticism in their thoughts. "We've toiled all night and caught nothing." It would have been so easy to just ignore this stranger, to dismiss his advice as clueless. They were the experts, after all. But something, maybe desperation, maybe a flicker of hope, makes them listen. Maybe they thought, what have we got to lose? So, with a collective sigh, they heave the heavy net one more time, casting it on the right side of the boat. What happens next is nothing short of miraculous. The moment the net hits the water, it's not just a few fish. It's an overwhelming, boat-rocking, net-straining flood of fish. So many fish that the net starts to break. So many that these strong, seasoned fishermen can't even haul it in. Taste struggle, their muscles straining, astounded by the sheer weight. Their empty boat is about to be swamped by a catch beyond their wildest dreams. In that moment of chaos and wonder, something clicks for the disciple John. He looks from the bulging, tearing net to the figure on the shore, and a jolt of recognition hits him. It's the way he provides. It's the impossible made possible. He turns to Peter and says, "It is the Lord." The moment Peter hears those words, everything else fades away. The fish, the nets, the boat, none of it matters. He doesn't wait. He doesn't hesitate. He throws on his outer garment, jumps out of the boat, and starts swimming, then wading frantically toward the shore. He just has to get to Jesus. The other disciples are left to deal with the massive catch, slowly dragging the net, heavy with 153 large fish, to the beach. When they finally get to shore, they see a scene of perfect peace. Jesus is there, with a charcoal fire already going, and on the fire, fish and bread already cooking. He saw their need before they even arrived. He had already provided. He greets them warmly. "Bring some of the fish you've just caught." So Peter goes and helps drag the net ashore. And here's an amazing detail. Even with so many fish, the net wasn't torn. What seemed like it was breaking under the strain held strong. It's a small detail, but it's powerful. Then Jesus says, "Come and have breakfast." It's such a simple, human invitation. After a night of failure and a morning of miracles, Jesus invites them to eat with him. He takes the bread and gives it to them, and does the same with the fish. It's intimate, it's personal. It's not a big sermon or a public spectacle. It's a quiet moment of restoration and fellowship on a beach. None of the disciples dared to ask him, "Who are you?" They knew this was the resurrected Jesus. This was the third time he had appeared to them after he was raised from the dead. And this appearance was different. It wasn't just about proving he was alive. It was about showing them who he is and what their future with him would look like. Think about the journey they had just been on. Peter, who had denied Jesus 3 times next to a charcoal fire, now finds himself at another charcoal fire, being served breakfast by the very person he denied. This isn't a scene of condemnation. It's a scene of grace, of a fresh start. Jesus is about to restore Peter. But first, he feeds him. He meets his physical need before he addresses his spiritual one. This story is so much more than just a big fishing trip. It's a powerful lesson about faith, obedience, and provision. The disciples were experts, but their expertise led to an empty boat. Their best efforts resulted in nothing. It was only when they obeyed the seemingly strange command of Jesus that they experienced overwhelming abundance. How often do we do the same thing? We rely on our own strength, our own knowledge, our own plans. We work all night in our own power, casting our nets where we think is best, and we end up tired, frustrated, and empty. We try to solve our problems, build our careers, and fix our relationships using our own wisdom, and we wonder why we're not seeing results. Jesus' instruction to cast the net on the other side is a call to trust Him, even when it doesn't make sense. It's a call to step out of our own limited understanding and obey His direction. The other side might be a new approach, a difficult conversation, an act of forgiveness, or a step of faith that feels risky. It's about being willing to do things His way, not our way, and look at the result. Not just a few fish, but a net breaking, boat sinking, abundance. God's provision is never just enough. It's always more than we could ask or imagine. When we follow Him, He doesn't just meet our needs, He overwhelms us with His goodness. The catch of 153 fish wasn't random. It was a clear, undeniable sign that with Jesus, their efforts would never be in vain again. This event was also a powerful picture of their future mission. Jesus had told them they would become fishers of men. This miraculous catch was a promise. It was a demonstration that when they went out to share the gospel, they wouldn't be working in their own strength. He would be the one to bring the harvest. Their job was just to cast the net in obedience. The results were up to Him. And finally, the breakfast on the beach. This shows us the heart of Jesus. He is not a distant commander. He is a personal, caring friend who walks with us in our failures and celebrates with us in our victories. He invites us into a relationship. He wants to have breakfast with us to restore USA, to fill us up not just with success, but with His presence. So, what about you? Are you tired of coming up with empty nets? Are you trying to do it all in your own strength? Maybe it's time to listen for that voice from the shore. Maybe it's time to cast your net on the other side, to trust His guidance, even when it feels illogical. You might just be surprised by the net-breaking abundance He has waiting for you. This story is a beautiful reminder that our greatest efforts can lead to nothing. But a simple act of obedience to Jesus can lead to an overflow. He is the Lord of the harvest, the restorer of souls, and the friend who waits for us on the shore, with a fire lit and breakfast ready. Thanks for watching today. If this story encouraged you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that dives deep into these incredible accounts. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.